I can't wait for this one. I've been waiting all hour for this, Sean, because we're going to go through our National Player of the Year and our National Coach of the Year now. And I know who you're going to pick, unless you were just throwing me off before the show started. But I know who you're going to pick. It's going to be a little bit of a drum roll here, but I don't want to give it away yet. I kind of want to wait on this one. So I'm going to let Arch go first and then me, and then we're going to get to you. So Arch, start us off. Who is your National Player of the Year and why?
Oscar is my National Player of the Year. I don't think that a player does more for their team than him. And I don't think if you take him off their team, Kentucky's anywhere near where they are right now without him. I mean, I'm not going to say how many games they would win, but what he does for Kentucky and how he pretty much controls the paint for their team, the statistics that he puts up. Oscar, to me, is the National Player of the Year today.
All right, so I'm going to go next, and I'm going to go with Johnny Davis, because I don't know if I've seen a player this year mean more to his team. And I know you could say that for Oscar too. You could say it for everybody we're going to pick, because that's why they're the National Player of the Year. You take them off their team.
But there's some guys on good teams that you can take off, and they're still going to be pretty good.
Exactly.
You know,
like
I don't think
if you take Johnny
I don't think
Davis,
that Wisconsin and Kentucky are going to be anywhere near the team if you take those two guys off the team.
I mean, honestly, I say without Johnny Davis, I'm not sure they're an NIT team. Like, they probably are, but I'm not sure they're a definitive NIT team. And what Johnny Davis has done in West Lafayette, in Bloomington, there are not, I mean, those are two of the top 8 venues in the country, toughest places to play.
Do you know what he's done? You know what he's done for the first time, I think, in program history. I'm not sure the date. They've won at Michigan State Breslin. They've won at Assembly Hall, and they won at Mackey Arena. He averages 30 and 11 in those 3 wins on the road this year.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you not give it to Johnny Davis here? How do you not give it to him?
It's easy, because America's team, America's best team, the Zags, have the best player, Drew Timme. He's number 3 in terms of KenPom. I want you to think about this, okay? So far this season, we have a lot of games left. He's 153 for 241 from 2, 64%. 64% on 241 2-point shots. Do you know how dominant that is? And, you know, look, the other part is, I mean, you have to reward these guys for the way they're winning. He came in as a freshman, Jeff. They were 31-2. His sophomore year, they were 31-1. And right now they're 21-2. And like, the days of saying, hey, they don't play anybody have ended a long, long time ago. He scores on all comers, and he'll score in this year's NCAA tournament, but he's not getting enough credit for, I believe, the career he's had so far. But let's just look at this year alone. That statistic, I would just ask, and Archie, you may even have the answer because of your ability to spit out stats. But I want to know another player.
Spit them out, Archie.
Close. I want to know another player that's even close when you consider that many 2s attempted and that many made, man, through 23 games. I mean, it's
I'll give you a stat, Coach, for his career against Tier A opponents. All right.
This is amazing that you're saying
Tier A opponents. The only thing that matters when you look at Gonzaga or you look at Drew Timme, Tier A, the best of the best teams. He's shooting 67% from 2 in his career.
Come on now. Career.
That's insane.
And it's also their style.
It's the style.
But I'll tell you, he can really play. You know, I recruited him out of high school. We didn't make the cut, unfortunately. He was one of my favorite players that I watched that summer. I just loved everything about him. And you know, he's a really tough guy to deal with. I mean, he really is. I think he's the National Player of the Year.
All right. So the guys we haven't mentioned that are in the equation, you have to put EJ Liddell in the equation. EJ
Liddell I just said Oscar is the national player. EJ Liddell is the Big Ten player of the year, not Johnny
So you're
Davis.
picking him over Johnny Davis then?
He's the hardest cover in college basketball.
I would agree with that. And I think he's gotten so much better, and you can speak to this, Arch. Defensively, he's gotten so much better this year than he was a year ago. Slimmed down, blocking shots.
Hey, look, now, Ohio State's tied for first place in the Big Ten. Whoever wins the next 2 weeks for the Big Ten regular season title, and maybe there'll be some head-to-head matchups in that game, is going to win either Big Ten Player of the Year or co-Big Ten Player of the Year. But EJ Liddell is shooting 40% from three. And he's shooting 40% from three, and they're playing him at the 4 and the 5 at times.
And he doesn't have a point guard really, Arch.
It's just, he's just such a hard cover because I don't know if I've seen a guy who's that physically strong, and that physically like strong and athletic at his size, who can do what he can do on both ends of the floor. He's a very sturdy player. He's going to be a terrific NBA player.
Two more guys we haven't talked about, and we don't need to talk about them, but we got to mention them. And then you guys can add who we forgot. But I think you're down to like 6 guys at the top. Kofi and Ochai Agbaji's got to be in there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Ochai, definitely.
If whoever wins the Big 12, like they almost should be like automatically right.
Who do you
there
give it
for
to
national.
if it's Texas Tech, though? Who do you give it to?
Right, but it's like if you win the Big 12 regular season this year and you're the best player
Kansas
on that
is 2
team,
games up right now.
Yeah, it's almost like not that you should be the national player of the year, but if his name's not Drew Timmy, he should be national runner-up player of the year. I mean, it's those guys are all very, very good. And
Jeff, we had this a little bit earlier today. Why? Because I think if Auburn wins the outright SEC championship, I think Walker Kessler should be the SEC player of the year. Why wouldn't he?
That.
Why isn't he in the realm of these guys? Because what he's doing is historic.
Well, because you've got Oscar as the player. So you're saying if Auburn beats out,
if Auburn
Kentucky,
runs the table here down the stretch and they win the outright deal,
and most people would have Jabari Smith, who had a great game today.
He was terrific tonight. Yeah.
But you're saying the difference with Auburn is its defense, and Walker Kessler, arguably, maybe not even arguably, is the best defensive player in the country.
He's averaging, I don't think he had 6 or 7 more blocks tonight. He's averaging almost 6 blocks a game. Their team is doing some crazy things right now defensively. And
all right, we got 3 minutes.
8 blocks.